Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generated game. When we left off in the previous episode, we saw 3 new apprentices and for one of them a cruel fate. So our 3 youngsters, Foxpaw, Ghostpaw and Houndpaw, went out on their first patrols, and unfortunately for their sister who got caught up in an ambush, she ended up dying. She was in a patrol of 4, she ended up dying. Ghostpaw managed to escape along with Quill, Runner, and who else was there? Frostfade. Also, it didn't hit me until after I finished the episode that the king, in a way, is acknowledging Flarefreckle and her sons, because Flarefreckle and her sons were chosen as the mentors for the children. Unfortunately for the cool prince, he lost his apprentice. So I wonder what must be going through his mind right now. I suppose we'll see. And with, Houndpaw's death, I think Flarefreckle would be feeling a lot of disappointment for another life, another life lost, and for, the loss of another princess. For some reason, this clan can't seem to have princesses because all our females in the litters, they die, and we only ever have, 1 extra female in a litter. So, honestly, guys, we are struggling in terms of the gender divide. We have so many males, not only in Royal Clan, in Servant Clan. We have so many males, we barely have enough females. Literally, when I was looking through Servant Clan, according to, my preferences and the way I decide, there was only 1 female in Servant Clan that we could bring in, that we need to try and bring in now, so that we can have, make another match and have another litter. But this is wild. We don't have enough females anywhere. But okay, let's go straight to the leader's den and get things going. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's roll the dice to see how King Fernstar and his new and not enemy of a right hand is going to do for the next gathering. I have a 6 for the D10, so that's Ice Clan, and a 4 for the D8, which is Offend. And let's go ahead and skip a moon, guys. Let's skip a moon. At the gathering, Flailstorm flatly ignores Ice Clan's leader when they try to make small talk. Ice Clan relations have worsened. When Royal Clan finds Magpie, she looks wary of so many sleek, muscled cats surrounding her. Still, Magpie listens carefully as Royal Clan explains that all this strength could help protect her. She would no longer be alone against the world. Magpie tentatively agrees. Okay, so we managed to get Magpie in. I can't say finally because this was the first moon we attempted and we got her straight away, thank goodness. Unlike Inkfeather, who took us a little bit of effort. Flailstorm will always love Buttercup Finn but has decided to move on. Okay, so the king's right hand is moving on from Buttercup Finn, who was his last mate and his first love. Shining Stripe's cracked pads have healed. Flarefreckle will always love Smokewater but has decided to move on. Okay. Flarefreckle has gotten heat stroke. That's not good. That could result in death. I think this is probably the stress of Flarefreckle from the death of Houndpaw, who she really was feeling a bond with. Bearpelt finally feels energized again. It seems the newly consistent meals have done him good. Okay, so they just needed consistent meals. Cool Runner finally feels energized again. It seems the newly consistent meals have done him good. Frostfade finally feels energized again. It seems the newly consistent meals have done him good. Ghostpaw's bruises are gone. King Fernstar looks at all the cats sitting vigil for Houndpaw and wonders how any of them will cope without Houndpaw in their lives. In the following days, he visits her grave, gazing blankly, unmovingly at the ground for hours on end. The past moon, Houndpaw has taken their place in Star Clan. Royal Clan mourns their loss, and their clanmates will miss the spot they took up in their lives. Moments of their life are shared in stories around the circle of mourners, as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. Seems as though, out of all the cats, her father is the only one who has taken her death the hardest, and I think in large part, yes, the affection he had for her, but I think in large part it would be because Fernstar, feels defeated once more by the death of another young female in the clan, who the clan was relying on. and this time that female being his very own daughter, who he had high hopes for. Okay, let's take a look at Magpie. So this, guys, is Magpie. She is a young adult female with dark blue eyes, a mackerel pelt. She's loyal, somewhat clairvoyant, and a good mediator. So this is the female that is going to have a match, and she actually looks very pretty. I really like her. And hopefully give us our next litter. And what is her descriptor? Magpie is a long-furred, white and pale ginger tabby she-cat. Okay, that's a very interesting sort of description, but she looks very pretty. The closest cat to her in appearance, I think, would be Shining Stripe in terms of like coloring, but definitely would make like pretty kittens, I think, for sure. So I'm very excited for her to be paired up with someone. Let's go to the medicine cat den. Flare Freckle has that heat stroke. King Fernstar was given Poppy as treatment for grief-stricken. Shining Stripe was given Poppy as treatment for cracked pads, and he healed from that. Ghost Paw's bruises are gone, and Icicle Speck gathered goldenrod, thyme, and cobwebs this moon. And just taking a look here, okay, so we have two cats down. The king, who is in mourning over the death of his daughter, and Flare Freckle from the heat stroke. Also, probably because she was so distraught over the apprentice dying. Okay, let's take a look at relationships. King Fernstar knows that the advice Magpie gave him will be helpful. Okay, so she's already having good rapport with the king as soon as she comes in. King Fernstar and Flailstorm actually get along better today. I really like the fact that after appointing Flailstorm as the new right hand, Fernstar is maybe realizing that he was behaving in a very immature way, and he's actually making strides to improve his relations with Flailstorm. And this moon we kind of saw that Flailstorm, he has moved on from Buttercup Finn as well, like he's held on to her memory long enough, so it's like a new page for the two of them, which makes me really happy. Scorchmoss realizes that she misunderstood something King Fernstar said. Icicle Speck does something that makes Scorchmoss's day a little happier. Icicle Speck is hiding behind a bush, ready to pounce on Flailstorm. Icicle Speck is sharing a piece of fresh kill with Foxpaw, probably trying to comfort him as well for his sister's death. Shining Stripe keeps asking Flailstorm if he trusts him. Flailstorm got a bunch of cats up for morning stretches, they didn't like it. After completing a chore, Shining Stripe reports to Flailstorm. Flailstorm has moved on from Buttercup Finn. Shining Stripe had a good dream about Quill Runner. Okay, about his former apprentice. I think Shining Stripe is maybe a little bit concerned that Quill Runner is taking his apprentice's loss a bit too hard and blaming himself, but then he had like a good dream that it's okay, Quill Runner, he's fine, he'll be fine. Shining Stripe compliments Ghostpaw on his bravery today. Flare Freckle poses a crazy theory to Inkfeather, and they chat about it for a while. Flare Freckle appreciates Ghostpaw telling her that she had a feather stuck to her face. Okay, so mentor and apprentice are getting along well. It seems they're adjusting well. And then Flare Freckle has moved on from Smokewater. Bearpelt spends the day helping around the camp with Icicle Speck. Bearpelt excludes Foxpaw in a conversation that Foxpaw struggled to join. Includes, sorry, not excludes. Magpie gets a little irritated seeing Bearpelt ignore a mess in camp. Okay, so Magpie is definitely not impressed with Bearpelt, it seems, one of the single males in our clan. Inkfeather is grateful for something Bearpelt did. Inkfeather tries to find Ghostpaw, her favorite son, to apologize for something, but finds him playing with a clanmate. Quill Runner points out a constellation to Bearpelt. Frostfade and Magpie enjoy each other's company. Okay, so Magpie has a good impression of Frostfade, one of the unmated cats. Well, I say unmated, but what I mean is unmatched, one of the unmatched cats. Foxpaw is pestering Scorchmoss for a story. Ghostpaw thinks Shining Stripe is a very good listener. And then we had, of course, the vigil for Houndpaw. So that's all we have for events. Let me cut the recording here and we'll pick up in the cat list. Okay, time for us to go through the cat list. So first up, we have loyalties, where I don't think anything has actually changed. Now, I just found it very interesting that King Fernstar, he is trying to improve relations between him and his right hand, Flailstorm, but Flailstorm still hasn't become a loyalist to King Fernstar. So Fernstar's going to have to work a lot harder to have his right hand like actually believe in him as a king, given their turbulent history. But the King's Court is more stable than I think it's been in the past, because he still has the loyalties of his royal physician and his matchmaker, which is good. I feel like more often than not we've seen kind of only half the King's Court being loyal to him. So that's good for Fernstar. Let's quickly go through the relations for the relationship panels for the cats before we make our match. And to be honest, I didn't notice anything interesting for me to note across all the cats. So King Fernstar over here, didn't notice anything with him. Flailstorm, I didn't notice anything of significance with him. Icicle Speck, nothing of note. Inkfeather, nothing of note over here. Bear Pelts, the same as before. Shining Stripe, largely the same as before. Flare Freckle, nothing of note over here. Magpie, I mean, she's obviously a new cat that's come in. Oh, I forgot to note down that she is a noble. I'll go do that in a second. But yeah, I mean, we saw interacted with Bear Pelt. She didn't have a good impression of Bear Pelt, but she had a good impression of Frostfade. Neither of these cats have been matched with anyone yet. Cooler Runner, nothing of note over here. Frostfade, everything is largely the same with him. Then we have the apprentices, Foxpaw, Ghostpaw, and no longer their sister. And then Scorchmoss, I didn't notice any sort of big changes with her. Okay, I need to, before I forget, I need to go ahead and note down that, let's see, Magpie was raised to nobility by King Fernstar. There we go. So she was a member of Servant Clan, and now she is a noble. But even she is not loyal to the king coming in. I think she's still a little bit unsure about her future in the clan. So now we can go ahead and make our match. Now obviously we have a ton of males over here who have not been matched, and Magpie is the only female that was eligible, literally the only eligible female we had in Servant Clan, just according to the way that I like to play. So yeah, we're kind of very desperate for a litter, but not only that, I think that we are desperate to find literally other cats when we go out on patrols so that we can build up Servant Clan more. Like, we need more servants, to be honest. We need more backup bloodlines to raise into nobility, you know? But okay, King Fernstar has decided that he wishes to pair Magpie up or match her with Flailstorm, his right hand, who he's been trying to improve relations with, and I think this is another way for him to improve relations with each other. Not only that, but Flailstorm does have the bloodline of the 9th founding royal that has yet to be passed on. So that is what the king has decided. And they are incompatible, so I really don't know how this is going to work. Flailstorm is childish, Magpie is loyal. Definitely not something that, you know, is I mean, I don't know if it'll work out. We'll have to see. But yeah, this is something that is not compatible. Okay. So let's go ahead, match them up. Obviously, as soon as they're paired up, they will consider each other seriously. And Inkfeather, as the new matchmaker, this is her first time kind of working on a match, which is exciting. So we have Flailstorm and Magpie. They have the 2 bars of romance because they are seriously considering one another, even though they are incompatible. But whether or not it's going to work, we'll have to see. Inkfeather has a lot of responsibility to ensure that it does work. So she's going to try and, you know, have a matchmaking session between the 2 of them. So let's go ahead and see if we can get an inkling as to how these cats might feel about one another. Let's mediate. Okay, so comfort, trust, respect, platonic like, and romance is increased. dislike and jealousy has decreased. So from the looks of things, both Flailstorm and Magpie Heart, they have a good feeling about one another. I think after Flailstorm's first love with Buttercup Fin, who was also childish, maybe he's seeing Magpie and her loyalty, and after also seeing Inkfeather's loyalty to the king, maybe Flailstorm likes that about Magpie, because it is different from how back and forth Buttercup Fin was, right? Like Flailstorm wasn't her first choice, and then even when they were mates and they were in love, before she passed on, she suddenly did a 180 and was wanting to become mates with the king again because she was competing with Inkfeather. So I think Flailstorm finds Magpie's loyalty to be stabilizing. And Magpie, likewise, I think likes the childishness that Flailstorm has because it makes him seem more youthful. So that's an interesting session between the two of them, but I'm very happy with how that panned out. And in terms of genetics, really quickly, Magpie, I mean, we did go through her genetics. Flailstorm, as a reminder, he's got gold eyes. He's a senior adult at this point. He's got gold eyes, a single color pelt, and of course, he's childish and a great kid sitter. So I'm curious. I mean, the gold eyes are he's a pretty cat. I think he counts as a light brown cat. What is he? Flailstorm, a long-furred light brown tom. Yeah, he counts as a light brown cat, but he looks like a purple. He looks like the dawn sky, doesn't he? He looks purplish, or maybe no, not a dawn sky. I mean, kind of like a dusky sky. He looks like dusk, with that coat. It's very purplish. Looks pink and purple to me, to be honest. So I am excited for a match between Flailstorm and Magpie. I think they'll make really pretty kittens. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they do work out. But okay, now that we've done that, let's go through and see what everyone else is doing for the day. Oh wait, before I forget, I didn't even, that would have been tragic. I need to let him have kittens. Okay, and then she already can have kittens, so that's awesome. Imagine if I forgot about that and we were going through moons and I'm like, why aren't they having kittens? It's because I didn't set it for them. No. Everything's fine, guys. Everything is solved. Okay, let's see what everyone's doing for the day. King Fernstar sharpens his claws. I think he would be very upset at the death of his daughter, maybe wanting to take revenge on the rogues who went ahead and do that. You know, I feel like, yeah, that would have really shaken his faith in the plans that he had. Flailstorm crashes through the bushes and ruins a clanmate's hunt. And you know, the timing as well for the king pairing up Flailstorm, I think, was kind of perfect, because it was this moon that Flailstorm moved on from Buttercup Fin. So at any point beforehand, who knows, he might have been too caught up in his first love and comparing Magpie to her in a way that wasn't productive to their relationship. But now that he's moved on, and is not bound by those feelings anymore, he can appreciate Magpie a lot more. She's essentially getting a clean slate. Icicle Speck ignores a rumbling in his stomach in favor of treating cats. Look at him. He is a responsible royal physician, is he not? Not when it comes to relationships, no. But when it comes to his work within the king's court, he is quite responsible. Inkfeather keeps thinking that Houndpaw is only sleeping. Oh, Inkfeather. I mean, I don't think, was a mother who gave her daughter too much attention, to be honest. It was always Houndpaw, running around, fussing over her mother, but, picking birds out of her pelt. I remember that about Houndpaw. But still, it was a daughter, and a precious daughter for the clan, and I think Inkfeather, for a long time, just equated Houndpaw to, a prize that was going to give the clan more in the future. But now that she's lost Houndpaw, she's thinking as a mother, she's thinking of Houndpaw as her daughter that she's lost, right? A family member. Not just something that was supposed to give more kittens to the clan. Bearpelt found a wonderful napping spot outside camp. Shining Stripe can't stop coming to tears each time Houndpaw is mentioned. Aww. Flare Freckle is thinking about her life choices. Magpie plans to visit the medicine cat. Quill Runner wonders what Bearpelt is up to. Frostfade saw a two-leg kid playing with a kitty pet. Foxpaw plays a prank on Scorchmoss. I think maybe this is possibly like Foxpaw's way of putting out like denial of his sister's death, just not acknowledging his sister's death and trying to like play a prank on an elder. Ghostpaw is watching and learning from Shining Stripe. I think Ghostpaw is going through the same thing. These two brothers, I think the event that happened was so harrowing that if they think too much about their sister's death, they start feeling guilty, whether they were there or not there. And so the way for them to not kind of get caught up in that is to just focus on training and the members that are here. Scorchmoss saw some kitty pets playing with colorful moss balls. And let's check up to see how the cats are going with experience. Okay, so Foxpaw, who didn't have the advantage with the mentor, is actually currently the one in line to become prince. So he has 11 experience, and he was the one that went on a training patrol with the king, and not his mentor, but with the king and Flarefreckle. And then we have Ghostpaw, who has 5 experience, so he's quite behind his brother, but he was the one caught up in an ambush where Houndpaw died, so I can see how that would have shaken him quite a bit, even though he is a daring cat. But seeing your family member kind of die before your eyes takes all the daring out of you, right? Okay, so that's what we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and continue with patrols. Time for us to resume with patrols. So we currently have 74.4 prey, we need 32.5. We'll send out our Royal Physician first off to check out the forests around the grotto. The heat of Greenleaf warms his pelt as Icicle Speck wanders, aimlessly searching for daisies to harvest their leaves. Proceed. Daisies may seem like part of the everyday carpet of greenery, present everywhere from rocks to fields to nestles at the foot of trees, but that doesn't make their leaves any less useful. So Daisy was gathered, and we're going to have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 2. I feel like the clan would be a little bit worried, given that we did have rogues nearby and an ambush, and for sure the royals would view that as a security threat, right? So I think they would be concerned going out, and I think the apprentices themselves would be worried whether or not they're going to come across another ambush. But let's see how they decide to divide themselves. Okay. So this time around, I mean, Flarefreckle, unfortunately, she can't go out on patrols. Quillpaw or Quill Runner is no longer one of the mentors. So Ghostpaw, he doesn't have any direct supervision, but his job is essentially going to be to stick close to the other cats, observe from them, learn from them, and then go back and tell his mentor, Flarefreckle, what he's learnt. So he is going a Shining Stripe, Magpie, Flailstorm, so might be a good chance for them to bond in a patrol, Quill Runner, and Bearpelt. So let's see what they get up to. As she trails behind the patrol, there's a mighty crash above Magpie. She looks around wildly, just as the world is blotted out by a tangle of heavy, falling branches. Proceed. As Bearpelt rarely has patience for other cats, Bearpelt tells Magpie harshly that he doesn't have time for some mouse brain who got stuck, making Magpie resentful as she pulls herself out from under the branches. Bearpelt! You know what? She had a bad impression of him as soon as she came in. This would have made that impression so much worse, because he's being really snappy towards her when something out of her control happened, like it's an accident. Bearpelt, oh no, this is not good. But thankfully she's okay. And then we have Foxpaw and his mentor, Frostfade, who are deciding to brave themselves, like with a patrol of 2. Okay, Frostfade. Okay, let's go ahead. He's sticking close to his apprentice. Let's go and see what you guys get up to. The patrol notices a commotion and finds 2 squirrels chasing each other across the forest floor. And the funny thing is, this actually doesn't feel out of character for Frostfade. Like, taking his, even though they've just come out of an ambush and lost someone, taking his apprentice, like on this tiny patrol with just the 2 of them, doesn't feel out of character for him, because if you remember, Frostfade, when he was an apprentice, for his very first patrol, his mentor, who was his uncle Bearpelt at the time, basically sent him out on a patrol of 1. Literally, was like, Frostpaw, this is your first patrol, go and do what you will. I want to see how bold you are. So I feel like some of that bold streak is still in him, and he doesn't have a problem with taking just his apprentice out, going on a tiny patrol, seeing what they can find. So okay, let's see. Proceed. Frostfade is quick on the jump. Though the squirrels notice the cats and begin scampering away, Frostfade easily cuts them off and kills both squirrels. A large amount of prey is brought to camp. Look at that, another successful hunt. So Foxpaw, he started off on, I think, a really strong note with the training session. It's getting even better now, because look at this. He went out with his mentor, they hauled in so much prey. Now we have 96.4, which is amazing. Ghostpaw, let's see, he's got 7 experience, and see, Foxpaw has 14. He's just getting better and better. But okay guys, with that said and done, I'm gonna leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.